Good morning, everyone. Today's topic is acid-base physiology. So you all know about acids and bases, about their basics, their characteristics from your intermediate chemistry. But here in today's class, we will see some more basic points about acids and bases, and then we'll move on to the acid-base balance, or how the acids and bases are physiologically maintained in the human body. So acids are the substances which can donate H plus ion or proton, and these are the hydrogen containing substances which can dissociate in solution to release H plus. So H plus dissociating to release H plus and Cl minus. And not all the hydrogen containing substances are acids. For example, carbohydrate. So in this, the hydrogen is tightly bound to the structure and which is not related in the solution. And there are various types of acids in the body, volatile and non-volatile. So as the name suggests, volatile means it can evaporate, and non-volatile means it will not evaporate. It is fixed in the structure. So volatile acids can leave the solution and enter the environment. H2CO3 is the only volatile acid in the body. Okay, remember this point. H2CO3 is the only volatile acid in the body. So which is dissociating to produce H2O and CO2 minus, so that CO2 can be exhaled from the human body, the human lungs. Non-volatile acids are otherwise called fixed or metabolic acids. So these acids do not leave the solution and all the other acids in the body. Example, other than the H2CO3, the other acids like pyruvic acid, lactic acid, phosphoric acids, and all the other remaining acids are the non-volatile acids which are products of metabolism in the body. Physiologically important acids are H2CO3, carbonic acid, phosphoric acid or H3PO4, pyruvic acid, lactic acid. These are the physiologically important acids. So these acids are products of various metabolisms in the body and they are dissolved in body fluids. Okay, remember the names: carbonic acid, phosphoric acid, pyruvic acid and lactic acid. And now about the base. Base is a substance which can accept proton, that is H plus ion. Example, hydroxyl ion. So OH minus plus H plus gives rise to H2O. Okay, so hydroxyl ion accepts the proton and forms H2O. Physiologically important bases are bicarbonate ion and biphosphate HPO4 2 minus and bicarbonate HCO3 minus. So alkali is a term which is used synonymously with the base. Okay, base or alkali, both are synonyms. Molecule formed by combination of an alkaline metal, that is sodium, potassium, lithium, etc. with a highly basic ion. So the basic ion, as we know, it is hydroxyl ion. So when it is combined with the alkaline metal, it will produce a alkali or a base, that is NaOH or KOH or NaHPO4. So the base portion of these molecules react quickly with H plus to remove these from the solution, that is alkali acts as typical bases. So NaOH gives rise to Na plus plus OH minus plus H plus, okay, gives rise to H2O. So the base portion of these molecules react quickly with H plus. So the NaOH dissociating to Na plus plus OH minus. So this is a base portion, right? So this will react with H plus quickly to remove these ions, H plus ions, from the solution. So these alkalis act as a typical bases. So acids and bases can be classified as strong or weak acid or bases. So strong acid or base is the one that dissociates completely in a solution. Example, HCl, H2SO4 and NaOH. Okay, so these will be dissociated or dissolved completely in the solution, that is HCl producing H plus and Cl minus. NaOH dissociating to Na plus and OH minus. And weak acid or base is the one that dissociates partially in a solution. So for example, H2CO3, carbonic acid dissociating to H plus plus HCO3 minus. So now we will see about the pH scale, or first of all, what is pH? For example, H plus concentration in extracellular fluid is equal to 4 into 10 power minus 8. So the pH is equal to log 1 by H plus concentration. So this is the definition, or the log of H plus ion concentration is the pH. pH is equal to log 1 by 4 into H plus ion concentration is 10 power minus 8. 4 into 10 power minus 8, right? So the pH will be equal to 7.2. So normal blood pH is 7.35 to 7.45. And the pH range compatible with life is 6.8 to 8.0. So any value below 6.8 and any value more than 8 is not compatible with life, and the person will be definitely in danger of death. So pH is equal to negative logarithm of H plus ion, or we can write log 1 by H plus ion concentration. So pH is inversely related to H plus ion concentration. Low pH indicates high H plus ion concentration and high pH indicates low H plus ion concentration. So this is the pH scale you can see. So this is the neutral green colored, and above all is alkaline or bases, and below all are the acids. And pH is equal to 4 has 10 times more free H plus concentration than pH is equal to 5, and 100 times more free H plus ion concentration than pH 6, like that. Okay, so if you take pH 4, it is having 10 times more free H plus ion concentration than pH 5, and 100 times more free H plus ion concentration than 6. Okay, so 4 is having 10 times more than 5 and 100 times more than 6 pH, and pH range from 1 to 14. Okay, so it ranges from 1 to 14. So 1 is strong acid, 14 is strong base or alkali, and less than 7, neutral pH is 7, less than 7 is acidic, and more than 7 is basic. So the pH of ECF is regulated very precisely. So the normal blood pH is 7.35 to 7.45 or 7.3 to 7.5 here. So this is the range, so which is very precisely maintained. Even the point change is also not tolerated by the body. So there will be changes taking place in the nerve cells and blood cells, and also the other cells of the body. So the anything between 6.8 to 7.3 is called acidosis, and the condition between 7.5 to 8 is the alkalosis. So anything more than this or less than this will lead to death of the person. So this side it is represents venous blood, and this side alkalosis, it represents arterial blood. So now we will see the various effects of pH change. pH changes have dramatic effects on normal cell function. So we can see here there will be changes in the excitability of nerve and muscle cells, and it influences enzyme activity, and it influences potassium levels. So this is the basic neural process. So how does it affect the nerve and muscle cells, and how does it influences the enzyme activity, and what is the influence on potassium levels, we will see now. So the cell excitability, when pH is decreased, that is more acidic, it depresses the central nervous system. It can lead to loss of consciousness. Okay, so more acidic or decreased pH leads to depressed central nervous system. So the person may lose consciousness, and pH increase or more basic can cause over-excitability, so leading to tingling sensation, nervousness, muscle twitches. So that is more basic effect of increased pH. So remember like this: decreased pH, decreased excitability of the nervous system; increased pH, increased excitability of the nervous system. And then how does it influence the enzyme activity? pH increase or decrease can alter the shape of enzyme, rendering it non-functional. So as we all know, the shape of the substrate and the enzyme molecule should be like that. It can attach to the position or its place in the enzyme. Okay, the substrate should be attached or fixed in its place in the enzyme. Then only the process of subsequent process or steps will be taking place. So when the pH increases or decreases, the enzyme shape is altered. Okay, so when its shape is altered, the substrate cannot fix in place, and so the function of this enzyme will be distracted or disturbed. So the changes in enzyme structure can result in accelerated or depressed metabolic actions within the cell. So now we will see influence on potassium levels. So normally in kidney, sodium is absorbed in tubules in exchange with for potassium or hydrogen. So mostly in both these ions, it is most commonly exchanged with potassium, that is sodium potassium ATPase pump, and also sodium and hydrogen pump is also there. So mostly it is exchanged with potassium. So in acidosis, more H plus is secreted, thus preserving the potassium, causing hyperkalemia. So in conditions of acidosis, that is when the pH decreases less than the 7.3, so H plus is secreted into the tubule so that it is excreted in the urine. And so when H plus is being secreted, because H plus potassium are exchanged, no HK pump, so K plus will be retained by the kidneys. So it will be leading to increased concentration of potassium in the ECF, leading to hyperkalemia. So now we'll move on to the actual acid-base balance. So maintenance of pH of body fluids at a level that allow optimal function is the main concept or the main principle of this acid-base balance. So maintenance of pH of body fluids at a level that allow the optimal function of the body. pH maintenance means maintaining the H plus ion concentration. So this involves two important ions which are regulated by various chemical and physiological processes. So the two ions are H plus and bicarbonate ion. So how this balance between the acids and bases is maintained? So it is maintained by chemical process and physiological process. So chemical process is the first line of defense to an acid or base load. It includes the extracellular and intracellular buffers. And physiological process are changes in the cellular metabolism and excretion of volatile acids by the lungs and excretion of fixed acids by the kidneys. So these are the main chemical and physiological processes by which the acids and base are maintained at normal levels by the human body. So this chemical or combinedly chemical and physiological are three mechanisms basically. So chemical buffers which react very rapidly, less than a second, and respiratory regulation which is physiological. It reacts rapidly within seconds to minutes, and renal regulation, it reacts very slowly, that it takes minutes to hours time. So as we have already seen, buffer system comes under the chemical process and the remaining three comes under the physiological process. So buffer system is the immediately reacting system which maintains the acid-base balance. So other than that, we have respiratory, renal and intracellular or cellular mechanism. So coming to the buffers. So I think you all have this concept of buffers in your intermediate chemistry. So you all know very well. So again we will see just introduction or briefing about this buffers. So it is a solution of weak acid and its salt with a strong base that prevent change in pH when H plus ions are added or removed from the solution. Okay, solution of weak acid and its salt with a strong base that prevent change in the pH when H plus ions are added or removed from the solution. So this is the definition of buffer. So it is most effective within 1 pH unit of the pK of the buffer. So all buffers will have pK value. So when the buffer is, when it is most effective means when its value is within 1 pH unit of the pK of the buffer, and it depends on absolute concentration of salt and acid. So buffer cannot remove H plus ions from the body, temporarily reduces the free H plus ions. Okay, so remember this point. It cannot remove H plus ions, but it temporarily reduces the free H plus ion concentrations. H plus ions have to be ultimately removed by the renal mechanism. Okay, so the renal is the final ultimate rescue of the H plus ions. So now we will see the Henderson-Hasselbalch equation. So if you take an acid Ha, which is dissociating to H plus and A minus. So in this example, when acid is added, H plus ion concentration increases. So reaction will be forced towards right, leading to increase in undissociated molecules. Okay, when acid is added, the reaction is forced towards the right, leading to undissociated molecule concentration increase. When base is added, reaction shifts towards left. More H plus ion released from the buffer to combine with the base. Okay, so when base is added, reaction shifts towards the left, towards this side, so that more H plus ion released from the buffer to combine with the base. Okay, so now we will see the most effective buffer. So before that, by the law of mass action at equilibrium, K, that is otherwise called dissociation constant of acid, is equal to H plus and A minus, that is acid and base product, divided by the Ha, the acid. Okay, so from the previous equation, H plus is equal to K multiplied by Ha divided by A minus. So as we all know, pH is equal to log 1 by H plus. So if we rewrite this equation with the log, using the log, so we can write as log 1 by H plus is equal to log 1 by K plus log A minus by Ha. So this will be reversed. So if we replace this log 1 by H plus with pH, that is equal to pK plus log A by AHA minus. So thus pH is equal to pK. So the most effective buffers in the body are those with pK value close to the pH in which they operate. From this equation, it is seen that buffering capacity of buffer system is greatest when amount of anion and undissociated acid is same. So when these two are the same, the value is be pH is equal to pK, when A minus and the HA values are same. And next we will see some of the important buffer systems in the body. So the most important buffer system is bicarbonate buffer system. It predominates in the extracellular fluid. Okay, so HCO3 minus plus the added H plus gives rise to H2CO3. So the H plus will be added to the bicarbonate, leading to the production of H2CO3 carbonic acid. So this is the mechanism of bicarbonate buffer system. So the hydrogen ions generated by the metabolisms in the body or by the ingestion, that is through food, react with the bicarbonate base to form more carbonic acid. So these are the hydrogen ions which are generated by metabolism or by which are taken by ingestion of food. So this is the reaction by which the bicarbonate buffer system operates. So hydrogen ions that are lost by vomiting causes carbonic acid to dissociate, yielding the replacement of H plus ion and bicarbonate. So the reverse happens when there is hydrogen ions lost through vomiting. So this system is most important because the concentration of both components can be regulated. That is carbonic acid concentration by the respiratory system and bicarbonate concentration by the renal system. Because carbonic acid dissociates to H2O and CO2, which is CO2 can be volatile, it can be evaporated by the lungs, and bicarbonate means H2CO3 when dissociated to H plus and HCO3 minus, it will be excreted through the kidneys. So this is very important, both the components, that is HCO3 minus and also H2CO3, both the components can be regulated equally. So one is carbonic acid, one is bicarbonate. So that's why it is most common, easy mechanism which is operated all the time in the body. So when we do exercise, there will be addition of lactic acid, more acid is produced. So the reaction will be forced towards this side. So it will produce more carbon dioxide, H2O and carbon dioxide. So when we do exercise, we will be ventilating more, we will be breathing more. So why? Because CO2 will be exhaled from the lungs. And when there is vomiting, there will be loss of acid, that is loss of HCl. So it will be leading to reaction will be leading to this side or force towards the right side. So when the acid is being lost, it will be producing acid and also this bicarbonate, which will be excreted by the kidneys. The next is phosphate buffer system, second to the bicarbonate buffer system. So this system is important in the intracellular system. So the reaction is like this: Na2HPO4 plus H plus ion is equal to or dissociating to NaH2PO4 and then Na plus. Okay. So this is the again the same reaction. So for operating of phosphate buffer system, so it will be operating like this. When H plus is added more, the reaction will be moving to this side, and when there is loss of H plus, the reaction will be moving to this side. So after the bicarbonate and phosphate buffer, we have the other important buffer system, protein buffer system. So it is also most important intracellular buffer, and it is the abundant buffer of the body. It behaves as a buffer in both plasma and cells. So the most important protein is hemoglobin. It is the most important protein buffer. So as you can see, hemoglobin, the structure of hemoglobin. So it is the most important protein buffer which can accept the H plus and OH minus ions. So H plus generated at the tissue level from the dissociation of carbonic acid produced by the addition of CO2. And bound H plus to hemoglobin does not contribute to the acidity of blood. So when H plus is bound to hemoglobin, it does not contribute to acidity. So the H plus which is generated at the tissue level from the dissociation of carbonic acid, it will be bound to hemoglobin. So as H plus Hb picks up the oxygen, so when H plus is combined with hemoglobin, when the blood moves to the lungs, so hemoglobin is has more affinity for oxygen. So what happens? O2 picked up from the lungs combined with the Hb, so releasing H plus, and this H plus picks up the oxygen. So the H plus picks up the oxygen forming H2O. So liberated H plus from H2O combines with HCO3 minus. So leading to carbonic acid production, and this will again dissociates to produce CO2, which is again exhaled through the lungs. So this is the mechanism of operation of protein buffer system, that is otherwise hemoglobin. And now coming to the respiratory regulation. So after the buffer system, we have the other important regulatory mechanism, that is respiratory regulation. So the equation here is CO2 plus H2O combining to produce carbonic acid, and which is again dissociated to H plus and HCO3 minus. So respiratory regulation is by increasing or decreasing the exhalation of CO2 from the body. So this is the main mechanism of operation of respiratory regulation. Hyperventilation is in response to increased CO2 or decreased or increased H plus ion concentration or low pH. So when there is increased CO2 concentration or H plus concentration, the response is hyperventilation, because it will eliminate CO2 from the body by adding the H plus adding to the bicarbonate, reducing HCO3 and also producing the CO2, more CO2, which is exhaled from the body. And hypoventilation in response to decreased CO2 or H plus ion concentration. So for this, you remember the most common example, exercise. And for this hypoventilation, you can remember when you are having a loss of H plus ion, that is in vomitings. Respiratory center in brain is able to detect blood concentration levels of CO2 and H plus. So increase in CO2 and H plus stimulate the respiratory center, leading to increased respiratory rate, but the effect diminishes in 1 to 2 minutes. Okay, so respiratory centers in the brain are here in the brainstem. So these are able to detect the blood concentration levels of CO2 and H+. So increase in these concentrations stimulate the respiratory center to increase the respiratory rate, but this effect diminishes in 1 to 2 minutes. And now we will see the renal response. The kidney compensates for acid-base imbalance within 24 hours and is responsible for long-term control. The kidney, in response to acidosis, retains bicarbonate ions and eliminates the hydrogen ions, and it produces new bicarbonates. And for alkalosis, it eliminates the bicarbonate ions and retains the H plus ions or hydrogen ions. So these are the kidney responses. So these responses are very, very important. You need to remember for understanding the acid-base physiology. Large amount of bicarbonate filtered and H plus secreted by the kidneys. Almost all bicarbonate is absorbed by combining it with H plus. H plus secreted is equal to H plus needed to absorb all HCO3 minus plus excess H plus formed in the body. So this will be the H plus secreted. So we will see again the large amount of bicarbonate filtered and H plus secreted by the kidneys. So this is the mechanism by which kidneys will operate. So almost all, that is 99% of bicarbonate is absorbed by combining it with H plus. So H plus secreted in the tubules of the nephron is equal to H plus needed to absorb all bicarbonate and also the excess H plus formed in the body. So this is the H plus secreted into the tubules. If the filtered bicarbonate is more than the secreted H plus, there will be net loss of base from the blood. So if this is more, obviously it will be the most loss product, that will be net loss of base. And if filtered bicarbonate is less than secreted H plus, there will be net loss of acid. So if this is less, obviously the H plus will be lost from the blood. Okay, so these two are the important points, remember. And in alkalosis, that is decreased H plus, there will be decreased absorption of bicarbonate and bicarbonate excretion will be taking place in urine. So absorption will be decreased when there is decreased H plus ion concentration. So there will be excretion of the bicarbonate takes place in urine. And when there is acidosis, all the bicarbonate is absorbed to form the H plus and HCO3 minus, and kidneys produce new HCO3 minus. Okay, production of the new bicarbonate is the most important function of the kidney. So kidneys regulate extracellular fluid by hydrogen ion concentration through three fundamental mechanisms. Okay, so this is also very, very important point. So you have to remember how the kidneys regulate the H plus ion concentration means by these three fundamental mechanisms. One is secretion of H plus ions, and one is reabsorption of filtered bicarbonate, and other is production of new bicarbonate. Okay, so remember these three fundamental mechanisms by which kidneys regulate the H plus ion concentration. One important question will be coming from this kidney, that is how the H plus ion concentration is regulated, or what is the defense mechanism of H plus ion concentration regulation. So you have to write these three mechanisms: secretion of H plus, reabsorption of filtered bicarbonate, production of new bicarbonate. So secretion of H plus occurs in all the segments of nephrons. So secreted H plus is buffered with bicarbonate in the proximal segments, resulting in absorption of bicarbonate and Na2HPO4 and ammonia in the distal segments. So H plus, which is secreted, is buffered with bicarbonate in the proximal segments, and in the distal segment it is buffered with Na2HPO4 and also NH3, resulting in production of new bicarbonate. So in the proximal segment, HCO3 minus is being reabsorbed and H plus is being secreted into the tubular lumen. Okay, so the CO2 and H2O will be entering into the cell. So producing carbonic acid dissociating to HCO3 minus and H plus. H plus is secreted into the lumen in exchange with sodium, and HCO3 minus is being absorbed into the interstitial fluid. So this diagram you have to remember the cell, and this is luminal side and this is basal. Okay, so this is the apical side towards the lumen is apical, and this is the basolateral or basal membrane. So this is towards the interstitial fluid. And in the distal tubular segments, so what is happening? Production of new bicarbonate by phosphate buffer. So again this reaction is same. Bicarbonate is being reabsorbed and H plus is being exchanged for sodium, and here this buffer comes into action. NaHPO4 minus, when combined with H plus, it will produce NaH2PO4. So here one new bicarbonate is produced from the carbonic acid. And then here this is also distal segment, combination of H plus with ammonia buffer. So glutamine will be producing from the metabolism that will in the cell, it will dissociate it to 2 bicarbonate ions and 2 ammonium ions. So this will be exchanged for sodium, and NH4 plus will combine with Cl minus. So this in the next slide we will see combination of H plus with the ammonia. So the H plus produced will combine with ammonia to form ammonium ion. This is NH4 plus. So in the previous slide you have seen glutamine. So in continuation with that only, so this reaction takes place, and H plus which is produced, which H plus ATPase, that will combine with bicarbonate ion. So here also again one more new bicarbonate is produced that will be reabsorbed. Okay, so this you will understand better if you read this from the textbook. Okay, so what is happening in the proximal segment and what is happening in the distal segments to the H plus ions. Okay, so all these seem to be little difficult for the first time, but when you read it, if you understand the concept, definitely these are all very easy topics. So you have to remember this picture, you have to draw these pictures in your mind. So not only when you open the book, so these pictures should be there in your mind, so you can easily tell what is happening in the kidney when there is increased H plus and when there is decreased H plus ion concentration, and what happens to the bicarbonate. So like that, try to remember these diagrams, draw these diagrams without seeing, and understand the concept of H plus ion secretion and production of new bicarbonate ions. So I hope you understood the class. So the first slides are easily understandable, but the last renal mechanism of renal regulation of H plus ion concentration, so that is little bit difficult, I know. So you take this as an assignment, renal regulation of H plus ion concentration. Okay, so you read that topic, only that topic from the textbook, and then you write down in a notebook and send to me. Okay, so that's all. Thank you all.